It was 2:58 a.m. when my phone buzzed insistently, dragging me out of a deep, peaceful sleep. The screen flashed with a local number I didn't recognize. I answered groggily, only to hear the tense voice of Sheriff Daniels on the line. "Sir, we received a 911 call. Someone claims you're trespassing on HOA property at your lake cabin." I blinked. My cabin, my family's cabin, was firmly planted on land that had belonged to my family for generations. Not only did I own it, but the entire valley surrounding it, including the roads leading to the lake, was deeded to my family decades ago. I had always known the HOA was petty, but calling the police at 3 a.m. to evict me? That was next-level audacity. The caller, of course, was Margaret Simmons, HOA president, lakeside vigilante, and self-appointed arbiter of everyone else's property rights. She had a reputation for overreacting, but I never imagined she would attempt an actual midnight eviction. By the time I reached the cabin, Sheriff Daniels and 2 deputies were already approaching. Margaret was waving her phone frantically, insisting that I leave immediately. "You can't be here. This is HOA land," she shouted. I stepped onto the porch, calm but firm. "Margaret, I think you're confused. This isn't HOA land. This is my family's valley. My family built this entire area decades before the HOA even existed." Her face shifted from rage to disbelief, her words faltering. "No, that's impossible. This is communal property." The deputies exchanged glances. I handed them the deeds, surveys, and historical documents, everything that proved my ownership. They reviewed the paperwork silently, their expressions moving from polite skepticism to quiet astonishment. "Ma'am," one deputy said, addressing Margaret, "all of this land, including the cabin, is owned by this gentleman's family. You don't have the authority to evict him." Margaret's mouth opened, then closed. Her confidence evaporated as the realization sank in. Every call she had made, every threat she had issued was irrelevant. She had based her actions entirely on the assumption that HOA rules superseded legal ownership, and she had been spectacularly wrong. I smiled politely. The cabin, the roads, the surrounding valley, they're all part of my family's property. You're welcome to enjoy it as a neighbor, but attempts to evict me at 3 a.m. won't be tolerated. Her fury deflated into silence. The deputies offered her a polite warning to avoid further harassment, then escorted her off the property. Margaret stomped back toward her car, muttering indignantly, her authority thoroughly undermined by the hard reality of deeds and surveys. As the sun began to rise over the valley, the mist lifting from the lake, I stood on the porch, coffee in hand, and watched the golden light reflect on the water. The lake was calm, indifferent to human absurdities. This was more than a cabin. It was the legacy of my family, built with care and sweat over decades, and no HOA president's tantrum could change that. Neighbors later whispered about the 3 a.m. confrontation, marveling at how the HOA president had attempted to enforce imaginary rules on land she didn't own. Margaret never tried anything like it again. She had learned, in the most humiliating way, that assumptions about authority don't hold up against history, legality, and a little patience. That night, I realized a simple truth. Some property disputes aren't about money or control. They're about history, family, and knowing exactly what you own. And when that knowledge meets bold action, even the loudest HOA Karen has no power.